सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
That Tejasvina, the swara needs to be corrected. Some people are not chanting it properly. Please correct it during the chanting class. Okay? Tejasvina. Try that.
Tejasvina.
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 Vadhitamastu.
Vadhitamastu.
Like that. Okay, it was coming out a little funny. I meant to say it earlier. So, no conversation is had with Yama for those who are leading a dharmic life. But even they have to gain knowledge for the sake of being liberated from samsara. It is said in the next one. Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam.
Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam.
Punarapi janani jathare shayanam.
Punarapi janani jathare shayanam.
Iha samsare bahudustare.
Iha samsare bahudustare.
Kripaya pare pahi murare.
Kripaya pare pahi murare.
So, this is life. Business as usual without Vedanta. Punarapi jananam. What is jananam? Birth. Punaha api. Again and again, birth. And if you say, what's wrong with that? We celebrate birthday with cake. So, how can there be harm in birth? That's why it is said in the next slide, Punarapi Maranam. What is Maranam?
Death.
Yes, death. Bye-bye. And so, in the Kathopanishad, which is taught by Lord of Death, who is that? Lord Yama. There he says, Mrityoho mrityunapnoti yaha nana iva pashyati. The one who sees many, as it were, in place of one. The ones who do that, what do they gain? They go from death to death. When you say birth to birth, it doesn't touch the heart. It doesn't make you wake up. It doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. Because birth means birthday, laddus, sweets, cakes, all these things we think of. It's a happy event. That's what we think. But then along with birth comes a brood of so many things. Along with birth comes aging, worries, disappointment, few happy events here and there, but then that all ends in death. If it was one time, somehow we manage, okay, and go through this once, but then again and again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Again sleeping in the womb of the mother. Which mother? So many mothers. Last life, who was the mother? Who knows? It could have been a dog who was the mother. Yeah. It could have been a cat who was the mother. And it could have been a monkey who was the mother. Who don't know? So many mothers, so little time, so many fathers, so many regrets, so many things not done properly, so much unfinished business. That is why Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. That unfinished business is why it's like, it's like failing a class and coming back again and again and again. And there is a lot of shame in that. Because you don't want to stay back. And pretty soon all the people are going ahead of you and you are the only one there and staying back. being held back in the same class because failed. And so this is the story of human life. According to the author of the Bhajagovindam, or authors we should say, because we have many people. So the main reason for human birth is moksha. No other reason to have a human birth. It's a human body, mind, sense complex completely designed to seek moksha. You see, the setup is so perfect. One is born and then one strives to accomplish things. I want name, I want fame, I want to do this, I want to do that, and there is no satisfaction. No matter how much you do, you are sitting with a long face, but somebody else has done something more. Somebody always has done something more. Then you decide to become a musician because okay, I can sing, so I'll do something. I'll come out with a hit song. And then what happens to the hit song? It is hit out of the top 10 charts. Another song replaces it. That's why it's called hit song. And so this is the problem. Every time I strive for perfection in any field, there is always somebody better than me. There is always somebody richer than me. There is always somebody more accomplished than me. And no matter how hard I try, the promotion goes to the neighbor. Okay? Who doesn't try at all? And that is the problem. So you see, the human life is primed and ready for moksha because it is filled with complexes. As soon as you are a human being, you have complexes centered on the self. Why me? Why can't I achieve this? When will all this end? Why can't I be satisfied? What's wrong with me? Etc., 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 etc. Lot of problems. And so, like this, we have to see that the one-time birth itself is a big effort. And then many births. Thank God we don't remember what we were last time. Yeah, thank God, really. Because if we remembered, there would be no reason to get out of bed. It would be just depression. Especially if you remembered that you were studying Ramaha in the last life. That, nothing more depressing than that. Oh my God, I didn't get it last life. I'm not going to get it this life. One will become very depressed. So the mother goddess, Maya, she has put a veil in between the lives out of sheer compassion. So we do not have to deal with what went before. Every time it's fresh, as though fresh. But there is a sense of a nagging deja vu. Somehow this is familiar. This disappointment is familiar. This something is familiar. So the human birth with the buddhi and the complexes, which themselves are a blessing, even though they sound like a curse, they are a blessing because they make me seek freedom. And the ability to relate to a teacher and the ability to gain this knowledge, the ability to know something is missing, the ability to gain this knowledge, all this is very important. That only a human being can do. Do what? Convert the bhoga sharira into yoga sharira. A bhoga body, a body that is used for conspicuous consumption. Mind also, because mindlessly we just take in things. What is that called? Binge watching. Yeah. Binge watching means keep on watching something or the other. Netflix and this and that. So many things are there now. You keep on watching till the mind is totally dulled. And this is, why do I watch it till the mind is dulled? Because I cannot stand the pain and I don't know what to do, even though the solution is there. This is the bhoga sharira. You put mindless things into the mind, you put mindless things into the body also. In America, they have this certain things are called junk food. Junk means trash. How can you say junk and food in the same sentence? For us, it's a yajna. It's an inner yajna for the fire called, the digestive fire called Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara, the digestive fire, it's an inner yajna. And that yajna has to be properly, and reverentially performed. So this is Bhoga Sharira. And then finally when I discover this transition, then I make the Bhoga Sharira, I convert it into Yoga Sharira. A dog cannot do that. A donkey cannot do that. No other form can do that. It's only from the free will. Yoga Sharira means a body that is fit for Karma Yoga, a body that is fit for Jnana, Atma Jnana. That is the Yoga Sharira. It is not this body is not a Bhogayatanam. Bhogayatanam means a vehicle for Bhoga. Even though there are lots of wonders in the world, and the tongue is going out trying to taste things, and the nose is already in the kitchen, and then the eyes have already leapt out of their sockets and gone to see something. Nothing wrong in that. But are they dragging me, or am I operating them? That is the difference. You have to operate. You are the master. We saw that today. That is Shama. Mastery over the inner organs, mind, etc. So the mastery over the sense organs, mastery over the mind. This is what is called Shama. A resolved mind, a person who has a say over the ways of the mind, without which the mind will have a say, and one day you will be dragged this side not knowing what to do, another day that side, and then you say, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm having difficulty. In America there is an expression called FOMO. What does that mean? Yeah, India also everybody knows. Fear of missing out. So I want this and that all at the same time. I want yoga and bhoga at the same time. On the same plate. Little bit of yoga, little bit of bhoga. Why not? It's not possible. Not possible. It is not like, sabji and dal. Little bit of each I will have simultaneously and mix it with my rice and eat. Not like that. Because it is like saying, in my life, at the same time, I want some darkness and some light. Can you have that? How many times have I told you to say no so we can move on? No, you can't have that. Because light and darkness cannot occupy the same place at the same time. It absolutely cannot occupy the same place at the same time. So you cannot have a little bit of light and little bit of darkness. You have to choose. Do I want darkness or do I want light? Yoga and bhoga, a life of yoga and a life of bhoga are divergent boats going in the water. And if you say, I'm going to have one foot in yoga and another foot in bhoga. Yeah, like Jarasandha. Character in the Mahabharata. Torn asunder. Quartered, torn asunder. You cannot say, I'm right. Maybe in the beginning the boats are going side by side for a little while. You say, oh, who said we cannot do this at the same time? I'm balancing, I'm grouping, I'm fine, I'm great. And then what? This goes this way, that goes that way. And then the person is either Jarasandha or the person falls in the water and then scrambles, 100 people have to help him, help her, and then comes to the boat, and then it is yoga boat. Ayyo, I came here, I should have gone to the other boat. And then what? Next time the boats come together, he catches hold of the other boat and then goes there. But then, what are they doing in the yoga boat? Here it is so noisy. all the time, too much cacophony, too much noise. And there the sound of Om Shanti Shanti is coming. There they are singing bhajans, hear heavy metal music. I think I should go there. This is called, a mind that is under the grip of FOMO. You have to decide. Oh, but what if it is the wrong decision? Doesn't matter. Then you can always undecide. It's okay, theek hai. But you have to start somewhere. Oh, but I don't want to make a mistake. Okay, you don't want to make a mistake, but here you are making 2 mistakes. You are making many mistakes by not committing. Not committing. By not committing, one is ready to be committed to an asylum because it is crazy making. It is totally crazy making. So this is exactly why the human body is given. The human buddhi is given to be able to, the subtle buddhi, which becomes first it acts as an agent of the knowledge, but then it is given a thwack on the head by the Shastra and the Guru. The Ahankara is being given a thwack and told to come through the back door. Service entrance. Through the back door it has to come, sit and be a place where the knowledge is gained rather than pretend to be the author of this knowledge or even the criticizer of this knowledge. No, it is just a place where this knowledge is gained. So the mind has to have some shanti, tranquility, and it has to just completely be with this. And only the human being can command shanti at will. Which other form can command shanti at will? You tell a dog, Om Shanti, 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 sit down quietly. Is it going to oblige? No. It's going to meet a friend there and it's going to bark, or it's going to meet a predator and it's going to bark some more or growl, roll in the mud, all kinds of things it will do. Only the human upadhi, upadhi means this form. Only the human upadhi is fit for this knowledge. And in the dialogue between the 2 sages, Gargi and Yajnavalkya, this is what is said. This is how the dialogue takes place. Gargi is charged by King Janaka to select some people for an august, a very important sabha and an assembly of scholars, very learned, erudite people. And so Gargi is examining, giving a test and a quiz to everybody. So in Yajnavalkya she meets her match. So she asks him a lot of questions, and then one question she asks sounds just like the Tattva Bodha. Kripanaha kaha, she asks. Everything starts like that in the Tattva Bodha. Kripanaha kaha. Kripanaha means what? Who is the stingiest person? Kanjus means stingy in Hindi. Who is the stingiest person? We have an expression. What is that? Kanjus? Khichus means a fly fell into this fellow's tea. Okay? People would have had Vairagya for that tea immediately. For the entire tea, they would have had Vairagya they would have had. This fellow not only drinks the tea, and then he just, a few drops of tea that might be stuck on the wings of the fly, he sucks it off. That stingy he is. Okay, disgusting. But somebody came up with this expression. And so, this is the stingy fellow. Kaha Kripanaha. Who is the stingiest person of all? Gargi asks. A very strange question when, the previous question was all about highfalutin philosophy, how many elements are there, and how, what is in charge of all the elements, how many Ishwaras are there, what do you think is Ishvara, these kinds of questions. Suddenly, who is the stingiest of them all? Very mundane question. And then, Yajnavalkya says, Yaha Atmanam Aviditva Asman Lokat Praiti Bhogargi Saha Kripanaha. He has a very unusual question. One answer. One would think that he would say, the one who does not give dana, charity, or the one who is not compassionate, or the one who hoards his money is Kripana. No. He gives a completely off the cuff, completely different answer. He says, O Gargi, O revered Gargi, the one who departs this world without having known the Atma, the self, is the stingiest person on the planet. Why? What is the connection between not knowing the Atma and being stingy? Well, according to Yajnavalkya, that person is hoarding the brain cells, the brain power. The buddhi is not being used at all. Saha kripanaha. The person is not using the buddhi. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's what happens. And so, this is why the human birth is completely fit for moksha. And that is what this particular verse in the Bhajagovindam is urging one to go towards. Go towards moksha. So that you can get out of this rat race of repeated births, repeated deaths, etc. And it also says, it doesn't say this, but the implication is that don't get complacent because you have a human birth. Why? Because people think, if I am born as a human being, next life I cannot become an animal. Not true. Not true at all. Next life one can become an animal. Easily. All you have to do is behave like that particular animal, that you will become next life. Once, I was doing some, Pujya Swamiji had asked me to organize a conference in New Delhi. And I was doing some work for that. And we had to get a database of addresses from some people who were being very, speaking of stingy with the addresses. They were not giving it. I kept going from the Sailorsburg ashram to New York repeatedly to meet with these people. Nothing happened. Then I came to India and I met Swamiji, and then, I had audience with him. I said, I'm having a lot of trouble getting these addresses from these people. And then I had a question, it just came out. I said, Swamiji, why is it that some of these people are so territorial? I asked him. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought. I thought he was going to give a very big, deep answer. It was deep, but it was not in the way I thought it would be deep. He said, well, there are two possibilities. One, they were dogs in their previous life. And that territoriality has come, Anvaya has happened, Anuvritti has happened. So the territoriality has come along in this new life. The previous life Vasana is still there. Or, he said, they are getting ready to be dogs in the next life. They are practicing. I just burst out laughing. And then I didn't even mind that they were being so annoying, because when this light was shown on it, I said, okay, all I can do is be compassionate, because this is, they are very dogged in their ways, and I just have to be compassionate. That's what I told myself. It was just a very revealing moment. And so this is a chance one has got. Who knows what the previous life was? We have no clue, and we have no say. Who knows what is the next life going to be? We have no clue, and we have some say. How to prevent the next life from being an animal life? Study Vedanta. Because then Bhagavan will be forced to give you a body. This is the only body which can study Vedanta. It's not kabhi kabhi. Kabhi kabhi mere dil mein Vedant ka khayal aata hai. Should not be the case. It was an old song like that. So that should not be the case. Committed exposure. A commitment and a genuine desire to study must be there. Otherwise it doesn't happen. And so here, how to cut the cords of this punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. And then it is a lament. Iha samsare bahudustare. And then so you can say kripaya pahe, out of your mercy, O Murari. Jahnavi's favorite name. O Murari, why don't you protect me? Protect me. Pahi Murare. It's a vocative case. Murare, like Hare. And so this is the verse that is urging one to give up one's ways of, say, putting it off until the next life, putting it off until later. There is nothing to put off. It's now. And Adi Shankara also says it in the Aitareya Upanishad Bhashya. Yat aharam brajet, tat aharam eva prabrajet. Whichever day you feel like giving up, don't say, I will wait for tomorrow, let me sleep on it. Why? Tomorrow never comes. Never comes. And so it is now and now. That's what it is. Because it will never come. Something or the other will come in the way and make one weak. That is the idea. Then, iha samsare bahudustare, very difficult to cross is this samsara. So you are praying to Bhagavan here. Mura, destroyer of 5 heads, Mura, destroyer of Mura, destroy all my 5 heads also, which are having FOMO and which are refusing to commit. That is the idea. Okay, verse 23. Verse 23. Kastvam koham kuta ayatah.
Kasvam koham kuta ayatah.
Kame janani ko me tatah.
Kame janani ko me tatah.
Iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram.
Iti paribhavaya sarvamasaram.
Vishvam tyaktva swapna vicharam.
Vishvam tyaktva swapna vicharam.
So this is how to conduct this enquiry, how to avoid this punarapi, jananam, punarapi, maranam, etc. Ask these following questions. Kahatvam, who are you? Ask anybody who is around you. Who are you? Okay? And then, koham, who am I? Ask the next question. Who are you? First you ask. And then, who am I? You ask. Kuta ayatah. Where have I come from? Where have I come from? Kame janani. Who is my mom? Kahame, kome, tatah. Who is the father? Who is my mom? Who is my dad? Where have I come from? Who am I? And for that matter, who are you? If you talk like this in the world, what will happen? Huh? Yeah. They will, the friendly people will say, I think you should go for a checkup. When was your last checkup? Very diplomatically they will ask. Okay, who is my father? Who is my mummy? Who are you? Who am I? And they will also ask, if any doctor is around, they will say, did you recently have a head injury? Concussion maybe. This looks like the concussion talking. Or it is Vedanta talking. It could be either concussion or Vedanta. But in this room it is not concussion, it is Vedanta. Discussion of Vedanta. It is not a concussion, it's a discussion. And what kind of a discussion it is? Is a discussion, a philosophical discussion of self-inquiry. The answer is not, of course I know my mother's name, of course I know my father's name, of course I know my brother's name, sister's name, I know your name, I know my name. That's not the idea. Go beneath the obvious. Go beneath the obvious. Don't stick with the obvious. Obvious is there. But then if you see it as coming from the previous verse, repeated births and repeated deaths. Who was your mother in the last life? Donkey. You don't know, possible, we don't know. Who was the mother in the life before that? Who was the mother, who was the father in the 5 lives ago? Don't know. And don't care also. Even if some person who had the sight of previous lives, your previous lives, you went to a sidekick, okay, yeah. So you went to a psychic and the psychic said, I know your previous life. In fact, it's my pet dog. That was your brother in the previous life. Say hello to him. I can assure you, this was your in previous life you were dogs together. Will you believe? No? Or that psychic, he or she, takes you to a place and says this was your birthplace. Well, birthplace, okay, it doesn't hurt whether to believe or not. And then takes you to an elderly couple and says these were your parents. Will you have the same affection that you have for your parents with them? No? You will say, okay, if you say so, they are strangers. To me, they are strangers. Isn't that strange? This verse asks that what you really thought you cannot live without in the last life, now those people are strangers. Even if they were to be brought and shown to you and authentically told, let us say somebody was very authentic and had some gift of seeing past lives, and they told you that this indeed is your mother, this 90-year-old is your mother. Somebody told you. You say, okay, and go on. You're not going to say, Mommy, I was looking for you, and give the person a hug. You won't do that. Because there is not that connection. That connection of the mother and the son, or the mother and the daughter, was there in the previous life. And what kind of a connection it is that is born now and gone now? Born yesterday, gone today, born today, gone tomorrow. What kind of a connection it is? It is not really a connection. Why? Because one wants the permanent, not the temporary. So therefore, to look at the mother and the father from this standpoint is actually very healthy. This is what we do in the meditation. We see them as people who have their own raga dvesha, they have that. We don't see them as people connected to us particularly. We see them as people, we have the love and the care we retain, but we don't see them as dysfunctionally connected to us and bonded through longings, fears, and all kinds of expectations, unmet expectations. That is why this kind of an inquiry is encouraged. Just don't do it in front of the parents also. Don't keep saying this. Who are you? Who am I? Yeah. So this is something to do. This is self-talk. You have to supposedly do it quietly. You should not say the quiet part out loudly. Okay? Yeah. So you should say it to yourself. This is an exercise in self-enquiry. This is not meant to hurt the people or make them question your sanity. And then what is the other line? Yeah. Iti paribhavaya. Think of it like this. Keep on thinking about it like this. Why? Because everything is asaram. We'll see this tomorrow, just seeing the meanings. Asaram means meaningless. Without sara. No juice. The juice is you. You are the Jagat juice. Yeah, you are the juice of the Jagat, really. You are the only thing that is juicy. And you think I'm making up all this. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Raso Vaisaha Rasagrihyevayam labdvanandi bhavati. Rasa means juice. Ask anybody, that's the translation. You are the juiciest thing that there is. Everything is nirasa, arasa. Nirasa means without, tasteless. You are the taste in everything that is tasty. You are the aroma in all the fragrances. You are the light of the sun and the moon. Because of you things shine. You shine and other things shine afterwards. Without you to call them out, nothing can shine. Nothing can be. And so, this, sarvam iti paribhavaya sarvam asaram. Everything else without the conscious being, that is I, is useless, meaningless, tasteless. And then Vishwam Tyaktva Sarvam, what is that? Swapna Vichara. Think of the Jagat as a dream. Think of the Jagat as a dream, and then think of it as just an appearance. That which appears, disappears. In fact, the Vyutpatti of the Jagat is Jayate, which means is born. Gacchati is gone. So you take the Ja of the Jayate and you take the Ga of the Gacchati, and then you just put a Takara to seal the whole word, Jagat. Jayate Gacchati iti Jagat. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.